And when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, Whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. But whosoever shall lose his life for my sake, for the gospel's, the same shall save it. I want you to listen carefully to these next two verses. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? What shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he cometh in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. I do not want him to be ashamed. Let's pray.
Father, please, God, would you come and touch it, Lord? Lay your hands upon us today. I pray that you would strengthen the people.
That we could come together, hear your word, Father, be changed by the power of the Holy Ghost. And we'll give the glory, the honor, and the praise. Somebody shout amen. Amen. You may be seated. Y'all pray for me. Sister Lane's been hard on me. She's been mistreating me. It's been bad. I didn't know how I was going to make it through. She has been rough on me. She said, if I see you out working one more time, she said she's going to call Bill Sloggett. She's going to cancel HMA. And she meant it. And in this house, she's probably the only person more powerful than me as far as authority-wise. And Brother Sloggett, if anybody else called him and said, we got to cancel HMA, he'd say, you're crazy. And he called me. If she called and said, we got to cancel HMA, he'd say, it's done. And so I straightened up. I've been doing a little better. So y'all pray for me that she doesn't abuse me too bad. Amen. 1963, I wasn't around then. I was a twinkle in Daddy's eye, I guess. That's a long time ago. Some of y'all were adults then, but not me. 63, a game show came out. Y'all remember? Let's Make a Deal. Any of y'all old timers remember that? You ain't been sanctified your whole life. Raise my hand. Let's Make a Deal. I never watched it. Never watched it. And I came across a clip of Let's Make a Deal. So I pulled up one of the old Monty Halls. And I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. And the show is like this. The one I saw, the episode I saw, they had a money box. And you push a button on top of the money box and a dollar amount flipped up. Of course, it was old time, old school, so they actually had to manually pull it up because it wasn't a real good money box, but I guess it was good for them. And it might be 15, don't tell her what I said. It might be $1,500. It might be $2,500. And I dare say that in the 60s, $1,500 was a lot of money. That's a lot of money to me. Okay, so what would happen? They push the button, it'd be $1,500, and Monty Hall would pull it up a little bit so you can see it clearly. And Monty Hall say, listen, you got $1,500 on the money box, or you can have what's behind curtain number 2. Curtain here, curtain there, and a curtain over there, number 3. They're looking at that money, and it's a gamble. It's a gamble. Because you got $1,500 in the pocket right now, or you might have a car behind that curtain. Now you got to make this incredible decision because it may be a camel. It was. I saw that. I said, I'm going to get that curtain number 2. They pulled it back as a camel. What are you going to do with a camel? I mean, somebody got a tiger club. What are you going to do with that? And so they walk away sad. Sometimes that money machine would hit $100. And they just, give me a curtain number 3. And they pull it back, and it's a brand spanking new car. One's like a 73 Buick. It's a big, long thing. It's probably bad news back in the day. I looked like a hoopty. My first car, I was a Buick, Regal or something, but it was beautiful. Man, some stuff got to turn. I'll tell you an interesting thing about that show that I like, and I'm going to mention this in a little while if I don't get so crazy that I forget. the audience was kind of broken up into two sections. There was a higher ground up there where a lot of the spectators were watching. But down here on the floor was all of these die-hard people that wanted to be a contestant. The reason you knew who was because they came dressed up in these crazy outfits. It's like a black lady and a white lady were buddies, and one dressed up like Salt and one dressed up like a pepper jack. Had a bumblebee. I saw all kinds of stuff I didn't even know you could dress up as. They was dressing up and all kinds of stuff, and they'd call them up and they'd go, woo! They'd go crazy and shouting and dancing, and all of them had these weird outfits on. It was kind of interesting. I know a lot of y'all are going to be like, I'm going to go watch me some. Let's make a deal today. And I don't know, I got a weird way of thinking. A story came to me in 1st and 2nd Kings there. I should have wrote it down. The story of a man named Naboth. Any Bible readers know what I'm talking about? Naboth. Naboth owned a vineyard. Naboth's vineyard was awesome. I don't know what he was growing, probably a little bit of everything. But it was during the reign of King Ahab and Queen Jezebel. And probably more accurate to say King Jezebel and Queen Ahab. And if you're not a Bible reader, you don't know what I'm talking about, so go read your Bible. It was King Jezebel and the First Lady Ahab, because he was hand-picked. Amen. Ahab is going home from battle or some journey, and he sees Naboth's vineyard. And he says, boy, it looks good. And he goes down, the most powerful man on the planet at the time. He goes down to Naboth, and he says to Naboth, I want your vineyard. And he says, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you a better vineyard for your vineyard. Ahab says, let's make a deal. What a story. Naboth says, no. You can't have my vineyard. Ahab says, but Naboth, I'll give you a better vineyard. He doesn't understand that this isn't just about oranges or olives or whatever. I don't know, probably olives, some kind of figs or something. It's not about that. He says, I can't do that. And the first thing that came to my mind was how the enemy would absolutely love to convince us that what we have can be replaced with something better. I'm going to take my time today because I got somewhere to go and I don't want to skip anything. I've got joy from the Lord that is so unspeakable today that some of you may not even be able to comprehend the joy that I feel in my spirit. But believe it or not, the enemy comes to me quite often and says, I want that, and I have something a lot better. Naboth says, I can't do that. I can't. And I like the reason that he gives for not being able to give him his vineyard. He said, the Lord forbids it. He said, I can't give up. I can't trade you. You can't give me money for my vineyard because God won't let me. That's good, isn't it? You see, there's some things that even if it looked better, I can't do because God won't let me. There's some places that I'd like to go, but I can't go just because God won't let me. And I tell people that they don't understand what I'm saying. But the facts of it is, it doesn't matter if you understand or not. I'm a child of the King. I'm walking with Him. I got a personal walk with Him. And there are some things that I say that I don't say. Not because you like it or don't like it. Not because it's popular or not popular. There's some places I've got to go that you may not go with me. Just because God said it. He says I can't trade vineyards because God said I can't. God said I can't. He's wanting to make a deal. Ahab is very, very, very upset. Naboth says, I've got an inheritance from my father. My father's father gave this to my father. And my dad gave it to me. It's not about the beauty of the vineyard now. You see, it's not about what's growing. It's something deeper. They could have been in a drought. Everything could have been withered away. It could have been a terrible harvest, and he would have still said, the Lord forbids it. I can't give up what I've got because it was an inheritance from me. Naboth's got it. He's a real man because he realizes that there are things that are more important than the tangible. There are things that are more important than happiness. There are things that are more important than vineyards. There is an inheritance that I cannot sell. I have an inheritance that I cannot give up. Yes, your vineyard may look better than my vineyard, but your vineyard is not my Father's vineyard. No. Your vineyard was not my grandpa's vineyard. I'm holding on to this because it's not about which vineyard is best. It's about God gave me this. Somebody shout amen. He said, it's an inheritance. I can't give it up. God said no. And you know what happens? Ahab goes home. Big crybaby. Most powerful man on the planet. Goes home, lays down in his bed, and he starts crying. His servants come to him and say, Ahab, you got a meeting at 3 o'clock. And he says, shut up and get out of this room. And he's crying and he's bawling. And he just lays there depressed for days and days and days. And then finally the boss woman comes in, Jezebel, and says, Ahab, what are you doing laying there crying and so sad like this? And Ahab says, it's at Naboth. I want his vineyard, but I can't get it. I asked him to trade me, and he said no. You know what Ahab's doing? He's manipulating his wife. Yeah. This is like the only place you're going to find Ahab get the best of Jezebel. He's manipulating her. I don't have time to deal with that in here, do I? Cry a little tear, make somebody do what you want to do. Pastor, don't come with me all that stuff. I done saw through that. Pastor, I can't believe you even coming to me about what you can't believe. Folks will make you feel shameful. I've seen ministers do that. They can't talk you into it by reason and by intellect and logic. So they say all that they did for you, they tell you all the stuff they sacrificed for you and try to make you feel so bad about it that you just do it anyway. That's not a shepherd, that's a hireling. Somebody shout amen. Husbands do that to wives, wives do that to husbands. I got a headache.
Come on, Lord.
What do you mean? Exactly what I mean. I got a headache. I'm going out with the boys. I'm going fishing. We learn how to manipulate each other. We withhold ourselves from the other person until they do what we want them to do. Ahab is crying and he's sad and he won't function as king. And so Jezebel says, what's the problem? Jezebel says, I will take care of this for you. So she sends letters. She stamps it with Ahab's signet and sends letters down to Naboth's vineyard and around that area and that community. And 2 spies rise up and they go down and they start telling lies on Naboth and saying Naboth said stuff that Naboth didn't say. And they took Naboth out of his house, out of his property, dragged him outside, and they began to kill Naboth. Somebody shout, help us, Jesus. They killed Naboth, laid his body in the streets, a bloody mess, over a vineyard. I want to say 2 things about that right there. We are so preoccupied with comfort. We are so preoccupied with being at ease. We are so preoccupied with everything falling in place. Did you know that as many as are godly, as many as are led by the Spirit of God, those that are in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution? Did you know that? Did you know that this is not going to be a flower bed of ease? And we were all the time saying, God, please fix this, and God, please fix that. And we do it so much, and we want such a peaceful life. We want everything to be a bed of roses that we don't enjoy any day of our life because we're always looking for a better day. But God said that I can have peace in the middle of a storm. I can have joy in the middle of pain. I can have love in the middle of a hurricane. I can have peace of mind in the middle of chaos. God, please take me out of this. Why don't you pray, God, strengthen me inside of it? That is so much better. Because He can only take you out so many times. But the very fact that I said take you out means that over and over again we're going to be inside of it. God, what's wrong with us that we come to a place to where we feel like we're defeated all the time except when we don't have a battle to fight? Why am I going through this? Because everybody goes through stuff. Why is this happening to me? Because it happens to everybody. We're people, we're humans, we're in this planet. Why did that fall apart? Because everybody falls apart at some point in their life. Why did she die? Because everybody dies. sick because everybody gets sick at some point or another. Here's the catch. I am a Christian. I serve the living God. And when bad things happen, I can call on a God of heaven who's able to turn it around. And if you're here and you're lost, you're all by yourself. Is there anybody that hears what I'm saying? I would rather be in a storm with Jesus than I would be in a sunshiny state without God, because with Him, I will come out. I said I will come out. The enemy's trying to make a deal. Is there anybody in this house that's willing to die for what God has given you? Is there anybody in this house willing to die for what God has given you? And you can't say yes if you're not willing to live for what God has given you. I see you preach all these funerals. You know, you preach the funerals of these precious mothers and fathers, their older fathers, mothers. They've passed on. They got all these grandchildren. And the grandchildren are always puffing up their chest. I'll do anything. Don't you ever say anything about my grandma. I say, yeah, you'll do anything for your grandma except the one thing that she really wanted, and that was for you to serve God and go to heaven with her. Amen. It's one thing to say it. It's another thing to do it. It's another thing to say, I'll die for you, Simon Peter. It's another thing to mean it, because Jesus says, no, Simon. Not only will you not die for me, but in just a little while, after the cock crows, you're going to deny me 3 times. You got to understand there's more to this than saying I'll die for him. We got to get up in the morning and live for him. I wonder, do you have something from God that's so precious to you that no matter what the enemy offers you, no matter what the enemy brings to you, you're going to be able to say it's not for sale. It's not for sale. You can't have my victory. You can't have my peace. You can't have my joy. I don't care what you offer me. I'd rather have Jesus than anything. My. I need some monitor, Brother Greg. This is smidgen. I saw something in this text that astounded me, and I wanted to share with you. I don't have time to stay here, but I thought it was interesting that Ahab comes first, and then Jezebel comes. Ahab comes with a finger, Jezebel comes with a fist. When you make up your mind that you're going to live for God, I don't mean this Pollyanna cracker chunk in and out all the time. I ain't even talking to you. But for those that have made up their minds, I will serve God. I don't care what they offer me for my stuff. I don't care what they lay before me. I don't care what's behind curtain 1. I don't care what's behind curtain 2. I don't care what's behind curtain 3. If I don't have a single thing to show for it, I've got God in my heart. I want to know, is there anybody in this house that'll say no matter how it comes, how it goes, if I have to die for it, I will serve God. Y'all are quiet. I'm asking you a question. Is there anybody in this house that'll say, I don't care what the devil offers me, I'm going to say no, it's not for sale, it's not for sale, it's not for sale. I will never backslide. I will never go back, because God has been good to me. Yo-yo Christians. You're not yo-yo Christians, you're just yo-yos. You're not yo-yo Christians. There's no such thing. It's just Christians. Christians cry. I'm not talking about Christians that get depressed and fight war in the prayer closet and battle and say, I'm not going to be depressed anymore. I'm not talking about people that are loving God, but they struggle from time. I'm talking about that. That's not a yo-yo Christian. Yo-yos are the ones that every time the curtain number 2 is offered, they look at what they have, they look at curtain number 2 and say, I'll take curtain number 2. That's not Christianity. I saw the same deal. Matthew chapter 4. Before I go there, I'll show you what I'm talking about, Jezebel. When you make up your mind, sister, there's going to be a heavier warfare coming. Have you ever heard this? And I want you to talk to me here. Have you ever heard somebody say, I don't understand. Every time I try to do better, the storm comes. Every time I do better, everything falls away. quiet. Raise your hand if you've ever said that or heard somebody say that. Hold it up. Now look around. Okay. I'll tell you how to stop that from happening. Give your vineyard to Ahab. Did I say that? I did. You want to stop that? Give everything you got to Ahab. Backslide, smoke you some dope, fornicate, die and go to hell. You don't have to worry about any of Jezebel's tactics while you're living, but you're going to die and go to hell. You're going to miss out on Jesus Christ for eternity. You're going to lose out on heaven. You're going to lose out on fellowship with the saints. I would rather suffer for a little while here and reign for eternity with Jesus. I'd rather tell Jezebel no and lose it all, even if I got to lose my life. Because after I'm dead here, I'll be dancing around the throne of God. Is there anybody that shout amen? Heaven's not real enough to us. You're going to kill me?
Come on. That's right.
Really? Already?
Yeah. Come on. Out of here.
We can't even fathom that. Can't even fathom that. Did you know, historians say, and I believe it to be true, that when they were taking the Apostle Paul to the chopping block, he broke loose. So he's going to try to escape. Yes. He wanted to do it willingly. He escaped their will. He broke loose. He ran to the chopping block and laid his head down. Why? He had already said it. To be absent from the body is be present with the Lord. He said, I don't care about this life. He was in a strait betwixt two. Every day he was torn. He said, I want to go to heaven so bad I can't stand it. All these folks, they think they threaten me. They want to kill me. They want to stone me. They want to take off my head. What they didn't know was Paul. He wanted it to happen too. But he said, I can't because they need me. I got to preach. I got to teach. I got to lay hands on the sick. We got to get to where heaven is more real than everything that we feel and see in this life. How do you stop a man or woman like that? How do you stop? How do you kill a man that's already dead? How do you offer a man something that has everything? How can you take anything from a man that owns nothing? God's not real enough to us. Heaven is not real enough to us. The Holy Ghost is not real enough to us. We should walk with power. All of this slumped shoulders, head down. Don't know if I'm going to make it or not. Away with all that nonsense. Raise your head up. Not because you're strong, not because you're wise, but because I am a child of the living God. I'm filled with the power of the Holy Ghost. I am invincible until I fulfill the will of God. And when the will of God is fulfilled, I'm changing addresses from 131 Big Hill Avenue to 131 East Heaven Street. I wish you'll shout amen. Can we get the kind of walk with God that says even if you kill me, you can have my victory? So he's been in the wilderness for 40 days, tempted of the devil. Jesus. He is extremely hungry. And Satan says, you see those big stones right there? You're the Son of God. If you are the Son, if you say you are who they say you are, turn them stones into bread. Let's make a deal. Jesus said, he's weak, he's got to be. He wasn't puny. It's written, shall not live by bread alone, but by every word proceeds out of the mouth of God. You know what Jesus said? He said, yeah, I might die, but I will still live. I esteem his word more than my necessary food. Yeah. So he says, all right, let's make another deal. Takes him up on the pinnacle of the temple. And he says, I want you to cast yourself down. And the angels of God will catch you before you dash your feet against the rock. That's right. Jesus says, it is written. What was the text there? Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. He says, all right, let's make another deal. So he takes him up on a high mountain, shows him all the kingdoms of the world in its glory. And he says, if you'll fall down and worship me, I'll give it all to you. Isn't that funny? The earth is the Lord's footstool, and now he's offering him his own footstool. The devil can be dumb sometimes. Jesus says, no. It is written, thou shalt serve and worship the Lord thy God, and him only. Let's make a deal. I said all of that because, man, I don't want this to be too sober, because I've got an exciting message today, to be honest with you. And when I say that I've been in the ministry for 2 decades, I'm not saying that to beef up my resume. I say that because I want you to know that I have studied people in this context for 20 years. I've studied marriages, how people respond, how people react. I can pretty much tell you that if this person chooses to do this, this is going to happen. It's not necessarily altogether discernment. Sometimes it is. But Brother Tom, I can tell you that if you get on I-75 South, you're going to go through Berea. You're going to go through Mount Vernon. You're going to go through London. You're going to go through Corbin. And eventually you're going to hit Jellicoe, Tennessee. That doesn't take real strong discernment to know that. I know certain directions, certain paths. And I know that if you take those paths, I know what's going to happen to you. Okay? So I come to you and I tell you that what I'm getting ready to say, I know for a fact. And I'm not just preaching to the churches that I used to preach to. I'm preaching to this congregation. I know a lot of people, and half this congregation probably falls in this category, and all of us probably fall in this category at some point or another. Our entire Christian walk is a let's make a deal. And I'm especially talking to some of you that are prone to backsliding. Now you know Pastor Lamb loves you. And what I say with a heartfelt love for you. I've watched our people. They have this possession. But every morning they wake up and they're looking at curtain 1, curtain 2, and curtain 3. And every single day they're trying to figure out if what's behind curtain 1 is better than what they have in their hands. I just want you to think about this. I just want you to let it settle in. Every moment. That's the reason the enemy is so successful with you. That's the reason the enemy so easily puts you in a place of despondency and gloom and melancholy. And I know I just got really personal with some of you. I love you, don't care. I'm going to preach it anyway. Some of you spend your whole life. You got this joy right now. And the enemy says, but I've got curtain number 1. I've got curtain number 2. And I've got curtain number 3. And you'll say, no, I'll take this. No, I'll take this. But one day you look up and say, well, maybe if I did that, it'd be better than this. If I did that, maybe it's better than this. And you say, give me curtain number 2. And what you found out is over and over and over again. You get a camel, a camel, a camel, a dog, a camel. You get junk. And it's never a car. It's never happiness. It's never joy. It's always bad. Oh, help us, God. And know when the enemy's trying to make a deal with us. I can't get you to work for God. I can't get you to commit because it's always, well, can't get you to get hungry for souls because you're too busy wondering what's behind curtain 1. I've got the joy of the Lord, which takes me sometimes through valleys. I found out quickly that serving the Lord doesn't dissipate all of my issues. I found out quickly that just because I got saved didn't mean nobody was going to talk about me anymore. I honestly thought that if little Levi got saved and was preaching had people literally stand in their face and say, I'd rather you be drunk, selling your body, and going to hell than to believe that the blood of Jesus saves. That's how we got birthed into this thing. Pastored a church of over 100, crammed them into a church the size of this pulpit, had it stripped away in a second because I decided to preach that Jesus is all I need. That's hard stuff. But you know what? I had to make a decision. There was a deal placed down. I remember the night I was walking the floor at 2, 3 in the morning. I was crying. I was almost to a place that my teardrop ducts had dried up. And I remember the enemy said to me, if you preach the blood, if you preach salvation through faith, you're going to lose your church. You're going to lose your family. You're going to lose your friends. You're going to lose your fiance. And the Holy Ghost spoke up and said, but if you don't, you're going to lose your soul. And I said, I'd rather have my soul than what's behind that curtain, or that curtain, and a million times over, I'm glad I chose to stay with Him. So Jesus says, Matthew 16:26, for what is a man profit if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man gain? What shall a man give in exchange for his own soul? In our text, Mark 8:37, Jesus says, for what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? You see, I said all of that to say this. Sometimes I'm dancing on the inside because I'm too fat to dance on the outside. And I'm afraid my wife might mistreat me if I do too much with my right arm. You see, for some of us, we're still in a place that joy is the deal. I serve the Lord because I want joy. And some of us are still in a place where we serve the Lord because we want peace, and that's the deal. Some of us serve the Lord because we want our sins washed away, and that's the deal. That's not the deal. He is the deal.
Right.
Woo! And as long as things are the deal for you, as long as acceptance is why you want to serve the Lord, as long as peace is why you want to serve the Lord, because there's some times that I am in the middle of hell. And I'm spinning so fast I don't know if I'm coming or going. I don't know which way is up and which way is down. If the deal is everybody liking you and everybody loving you and everything going smooth and your bills being paid, there's going to always be a curtain number 1. There's going to always be a curtain number 2. There's going to always be a curtain number 3. And the enemy can come and say, listen, I can give you something better. But brothers and sisters, when you realize that Jesus Christ is the deal, there is nothing that will come close to Him. Oh yeah, you can offer me the world, you can offer me relationship, you can offer me money, but I'd rather have Jesus. I'm done preaching, but I think I'm going to talk a little longer. Because some of you ain't got it yet. I need some dead men walking. I said I need some dead men walking. You talk about me, so what? You don't like me anymore? Who cares? I don't like you either. So you should say, I said, I love you, but I don't like you. You don't like me, I don't like you. Why would I like you? You don't like me. I like her. In bed, coming a big old Superman cup of coffee. Looked like about a gallon jug. I said, why you do that? She said, because you needed it. You wanted it. I like you. Orange bandana looking like a wildcat. I like people that like me. So what if you don't like me? What's that got to do with anything? You talk about me? What's that matter? Ain't got no money, so what? I ain't never had any money. Y'all not listen to me. Y'all, I'm sick. Yeah, and you're going to die. Hey, you're going to die. Just not tonight. Not tomorrow either. You got to. I'll say so. You got a while ago. Thus saith I. Thus saith me. Thus saith me. I'm tired of the backsliding. I wept a few nights ago. I shared my heart with my wife. I named 3 people who are ripping my heart out because they have the capacity to change the very face of this church. But they always take door number 1. They always take curtain number 2. Somebody says, so-and-so's here. Somebody else said, for how long? So you shouldn't say they're probably not, but it's your fault. I am tired. I got tired of me on an emotional roller coaster. Weary with the journey. Tired of pastoring. Calling up Claude Gilbert a couple of years ago saying, please take that church and keep doing it. I got tired of that. God didn't call Claude Gilbert to pastor this church. He called me. And he didn't call somebody else to do it. He called you to do it. He called you to do it here. And we're up and we're down, and we're in and we're out, and we're back and we're forth, and we always got what we have in our hands, the joy, the peace, the love of God, and we're always looking up and saying, I wonder which one's better for me today. There's got to come a point in your life that the curtains fade away. I've heard him say that you have to sin a little more, a little less every day. And I said, which sin? Which sin do I have to commit? Do I have to lie? Well, no. Do I have to steal? Do I have to commit adultery? No. Do I have to murder? No. Tell me, which sin do I have to commit? But that's the way we live. This people should be the most powerful people on the planet. And you can't be powerful until you make up your mind that my vineyard is not for sale.
Amen.
God restores your joy. You got to become a fighter. In the middle of chaos, you've got to fight for what God's given you. And if you'll throw away all the curtains, and it's just Him, it's my only option. When I got married, we didn't know anything about marriage. I almost busted that thing up 2 years. Almost destroyed it. And we talked about the big D. Dirty word. Threw it at each other. But no matter how angry we were, we had committed. I think about it. I look back now and I think about that. I had made up my mind that she was it. 17 years later, all the enemies threw a lot of women in front of my path. And I said it last night, and I wasn't trying to be cute either. I have nothing left for any other woman. There's nothing in there. She owns it all. If that can be said about a man and a woman, how much more should that be said about us and God? When the enemy comes to pull us, he tries, but there's nothing in there left for him. God owns me. God owns me. God owns me. He owns my home. He owns my family. He owns my marriage. The enemy's rocked it, but now I'm bringing it back to God. The enemy's trying to tear this church down. I said, God, it's yours. It's yours. Is there anybody hearing me today? You got to get to the place God is everything, and there's nothing left but anything but Him. There is no other option. It is this vineyard, and I'm going to And the Holy Ghost spoke to me several months ago and told me that a lot of you don't believe what I'm preaching. You want to. You want to believe it. And it's not that you don't believe it's biblical. You've heard me say it over and over that you can have perfect peace.